Hey y'all, Marvelous Miss Momo here. Gonna be doing something a little different today since I wanted to make sure I wouldn't stream for too long like I often do when I try to do a mini stream. I'm gonna be playing a game that's specifically made to only be 30 minutes. It's called The Evolution of Trust. I don't really know much about this game. I just saw it I'm not muted. I very specifically checked. Leo, you gotta stop doing that. You gotta stop doing that because sometimes I do forget to unmute. Anyway, um, I saw like an ad for this on TikTok and it intrigued me. I don't know much about it, but I'm fascinated to see what it is about. Okay, let's. You're a troll. Alright, let's get into it. During World War One, peace broke out. Is that what it says? Yeah, I guess so. It's cut off a little bit. I hope that doesn't become a problem. It was Christmas 1914 on the Western Front. Despite strict orders not to chillax with the enemy, British and German soldiers left their trenches, crossed no man's land, and gathered to bury their dead, exchange gifts, and play games. Meanwhile, it's 2017, the West has been at peace for decades, and wow, we suck at trust. Surveys show that over the past 40 years, fewer and fewer people say they trust each other. So here's our puzzle. Why, even in peacetime, do friends become enemies? And why, even in wartime, do enemies become friends? Trauma bonds. It's because of trauma bonds. Anyway, I think game theory can help explain our epidemic of distrust and how we can fix it. So, to understand all this, let's play a game. Yeah, it's cut off a little bit, but I think it's okay. The game of trust. You have one choice in front of you. Is a machine. Oh, I didn't see that period. You have one choice. In front of you is a machine. If you put a coin in the machine, the other player gets 3 coins, and vice versa. You both can either choose to cooperate, put in coin, or cheat. Don't put in coin. What's the benefit of not putting in a coin? Eventually we're just going to be swimming in coins. Let's say the other player cheats and doesn't put in a coin. What should you do? I'm just gonna cooperate. Alas, turning the other cheek just gets you slapped. If you cooperate and they cheat, you lose a coin while they gain 3. How are they cheating? Well, I'm gonna run out of coins eventually. Score is -1 to 3. However, if you both cheat, neither of you gain or lose anything. The score is 0 to 0. Therefore, you should cheat. But let's say the other player cooperates and puts in a coin. What should you do now? He probably figured out that cheating doesn't get him anything. Ironic game on how Momo trusts me whether she... Look, I trust but verify, okay? I trust you to lie to me because you do that more often than you tell the truth. It's your repeated behavior that makes a difference. Sure seems like the right thing to do, or is it? Because if you both cooperate, you both give up a coin to gain 3. Yeah, so we get 2 coins. Score is 2 and 2. But if you cheat, and they cooperate, you gain 3 coins. At their cost of 1. Score is plus 3 and 1. Therefore, you should still cheat. No, because if we figure out to cooperate, we're just going to be swimming in coins eventually. This is an infinite money machine. And that's our dilemma. Trust is nice, but it can let others take advantage of you, or shoot you as you come unarmed out of a trench. Sometimes distrust is rational. Now, what happens if we play this game? Now let's play for real. You'll be playing against 5 different opponents. I'm assuming that's a 5. Leo, you're a troll. My lovely little troll. Each with their own game strategy, with each opponent, you'll play anywhere between 3 to 7 rounds. You won't know in advance when the last round is. Can you trust them, or rather, can they trust you? Take your first real move. Cooperate. Yep, infinite money. This is just gonna be infinite money. you get more. Damn. F11 to full screen Bowser if you want. Oh, thank you. Let's see, F11, F11. Oh, that's so much better, thank you. Okay, new person. I'll cooperate one more time, and if he cheats again, I'll cheat. Yeah, I'll cheat this time. You get 2 chances, buddy. That's honestly kind of my attitude towards real life. You get 2 chances, and that's it. Hi, Izzy! I did not realize the F11 was from you. I was just reading the chat, not reading the names. Hi, Izzy. I'm a silly. We're playing a game of trust. If we both cooperate, we get infinite money. Alright, let's see what you do, Lil Wayne. I don't know why, but this one feels younger. I see. Lure me into false sense of security. Well, I'm cheating from now on because that's shitty of you. Well, now I kind of feel bad. So you're just gonna go back and forth and see what happens? Interesting. Hi, Chi! Yeah, I don't like inconsistent behavior. That's even worse than cheating up front. I'll cooperate one more time and see what happens. Okay. Yeah, if this were real life, I would leave this person, but we're trying to make infinite money. Yeah, he learned his lesson. It looks like he learned his lesson. Let's see if he cheats. Yeah, he got punished for cheating, and now he's cooperating. Now he really does feel like a child. Total score is 38, which is pretty good. The lowest and highest possible scores are 7 and 49, respectively. So who are these strange characters you just played against? The copycat. I start with cooperate, and afterwards I just copy whatever you did in the last round. Okay. Always cheats. Strong yeah, so figured that out. Always cooperate. I did well with her. Listen, partner. I'll start cooperating and keep cooperating, but if y'all ever cheat me, I'll cheat you back till the end of tarnation. First, I analyze you. I start, cooperate, cheat, cooperate, cooperate. If you cheat back, I'll act like copycat. You never cheat back, I'll act like always cheat. To exploit you. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Now, I still feel like he was just being a baby. Now, what if these characters were to play against each other? It's tournament time. Each character will now play against every other character. That's 10 paired matches and 10 rounds per match. Who do you think will get the highest total score? Think carefully about it and then place your bets. I'm not really a math person. It's probably not all cheat. It probably not all cooperate. I'm gonna guess copycat. Alright, you placed your bet on copycat. Let's go through the matches one by one and see how the tournament plays out. Match 1, copycat versus always cheats. Total score is -1 to +3. Okay. Oh, by the way, you may be skeptical about that Christmas truce story about the World War I trenches. Surely that was just a fluke. I don't know about fluke. Let's see, this one gets 20. Yes, the truce was dramatic, but it was neither unique nor unusual. Really? How many times did it happen? Not every trench joined in the peace, but it was pretty widespread. Many front lines came up with the idea independently, and again, despite specific strict orders not to. I mean, it makes sense to me. World War One was probably... I'm not a historian. But from what I understand, World War One was, like, the first war of its kind, and it was really traumatic for a lot of people. And ironically, there's this thing called a trauma bond, which can actually make people bond with each other even though they're hurting each other. Which is really fascinating, and is why a lot of people don't leave abusive relationships. Regardless. And in fact, even before Christmas, several front lines already had established an unofficial secret peace. I mean, honoring the dead is pretty consistent across culture. Hi, Phoenix! Good to see ya, good to see ya! I enjoyed watching the stream last night. Sorry I couldn't save the whole thing. It was late. It was very late. They called it the live and let live system. We're playing a game about trust, and they're talking a lot about World War I and the pieces between trenches, and what happens when you do and don't trust people, etc. Basically, you don't shoot me, I don't shoot you, and this worked in a lot of places. I don't usually stream that late, but it was great to see you too! I missed your streams. I hope you're enjoying your new home. You may still be skeptical. Most soldiers don't spontaneously form a peace with the enemy. What's so special about trench warfare? It's hellish. Well, here's what's unique about the trenches. Unlike almost every other form of war, you have to face the same specific soldiers every day. Again, trauma bond. I am very much in. Last place was wearing yeah, that's good. That's really good. I'm glad. I'm happy for you. It's a repeated game, and that makes all the difference. Yeah, eventually you have to ask yourselves, why are we doing this? 9 times out of 10, soldiers who are fighting each other aren't mad at each other. It's the people in charge that are mad. They're just, you know, cannon fodder. Anyway, and the winner is... Okay, I guessed this little dude. Oh, I was right! The Copycat! Congrats! You placed your bet on the right course. Yeah, because that's kind of my philosophy. You treat me how I treat you. And it just makes sense. Copycat goes by many names. The Golden Rule, Reciprocal Altruism, Tit for Tat, or Live and Let Live. That's why peace could emerge in the trenches of World War I. When you're forced to play the same game with the same specific people, not just the same generic enemy, over and over again, Copycat doesn't just win the battle, it wins the war. But if things change a lot when you play multiple rounds of the same game, what if we play multiple tournaments? Yeah, it's called The Evolution of Trust. It's just on your browser. You can play it yourself for free. Now let's let our population of players evolve over time. It's a 3-step dance. 1. Play a tournament. Let them all play against each other and tally up their scores. Eliminate losers. Get rid of the 5 worst players. If there's a tie, pick randomly between them. Reproduce winners. Clone the 5 best players. If there's a tie, pick randomly between them. Interesting. And repeat for as long as you'd like. Note you don't have to wait for people to literally die and reproduce for culture to evolve. All that's needed is that unsuccessful behaviors go away and successful behaviors are imitated. So now, let's see this in action. Say we start with the following population of players. 15 always cooperate, 5 always cheat, and 5 copycats. We'll ignore the grudger and the detective for now. We're going to do the tournament, eliminate, reproduce, dance a dozen times or so. Let's make another bet. Who do you think will win the first tournament? First tournament, probably all cooperate simply because they have numbers. Makes sense, always cooperate outnumbers everyone else right now. Let's see if you're correct. Oh, I have to keep doing it. And let me... 5. Top 5. Oh, it's pretty even. Alas, always cooperate got eaten up by always cheat. whose numbers have now increased by 5. Let's try a few more rounds of this. Okay, well, it's still pretty even right now. I get the feeling we're going to eventually have a relatively even wheel of all three, with possibly mostly copycat and fewer cheats. Let's see. Redeem, hydrate. You know what? I could use a drink. Eventually, you'll get to do that for realsies. Is this music from the game? Yes, it is from the game. And it is really nice. Play tournament. 8 out of 5. Top 5. Okay. Always cheat is still growing at the expense of always cooperate. Okay. It can't last forever because eventually the copycats will rule them out. Damn. And now all the always cooperates are dead. I didn't realize how long the rounds were going to take, otherwise I might have been correct. Oh well. Yeah, eventually these guys are going to run out. And I think, honestly, that's a really good assessment for life, because always being a people pleaser, always letting people tread on you, it never lasts. But treating people how they treat you, it teaches them to stop acting that way. You gotta have boundaries. The always cheats became a victim of their own success. They exploited the naive, always cooperators, but once they ran out of them, they had to face the copycats, who are nice, but not naive. Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty real. Squeak! I love how their deaths are squeak! I would love it if, like, whenever I die, I just want to squeak. Maybe that's morbid. By simply copying the other player's moves, copycats can play nice with each other, while always cheats just cheat themselves. Not only that, but it also means copycat can give always cheat a taste of their own medicine. So should I keep saying you or not? I'll let you decide. At this rate, you've dug your grave and I know what you're about. And so as a result, copycat inherits the earth. So although your bet was off, the nice but naive always cooperators were doomed from the start. In the end, a smart form of niceness prevailed, and the always cheaters were squashed. This reminds me of the quote, "We are punished by our sins, not for them." Punished by our sins, not for them. Oh, I see. Basically, do something stupid, you're gonna F around and find out. Oh my goodness, I love this song so much. It's called, is that Spanish? Hoja de Peringa by Evan Tower. New song Obsession Unlocked. Jump into big hole comfy. Bro, I duck my grave. You know what? Get some plush toys and maybe a beanbag in there, and it's probably pretty chill. Oh, and by the way, this result is similar even if we put Grudger and Detective back in. Interesting. This one dude is very persistent. Oh, he had babies. Oh, he died. He's so persistent. Let's just okay, we can stop. Sometimes a few Grudgers may stick around because when all players except Grudger and Copycat are eliminated, the two tie. So it seems the math of game theory is telling us something. That Copycat's philosophy, do unto others as they would have them do unto you, may be not just a moral truth, but also a mathematical truth. I had to Shazam it because it was so beautiful. There's a problem. Look around the world's full of total jerkwads. If Copycat is a strategy in this repeated game of trust that's so powerful that even soldiers in World War I trenches independently evolved a similar strategy called Live and Let Live, why then are there so many untrustworthy people What's causing our epidemic of untrust? Well, I think it might be confirmation bias on your part, buddy. You might just be thinking, oh, there are so many untrusting people, so you pay more attention to the untrusting people. But regardless, I'll let you continue your point. A clue's in that sentence itself. In this repeated game of trust, so far we've only talked about change in the players. What about a change in the game? What could that lead to? I mean, that's true. Circumstances do affect people. The evolution of distrust. Before everything goes to heck, I love how they say heck. Let's start with something nice. Here's a world filled entirely with always cooperative, except for one always cheat and one copycat. Use the buttons on the right to start the sim. Go through it step by step, or reset it. As you already know, copycat wins handily in the long run, under our current rules. That's under our current rules, which say that players play against each other for 10 rounds per match. Does copycat still win at 7 rounds, 5 rounds, 3, 2, or 1? Change the number of rounds with the slider below, then start the sim. See what happens, feel free to experiment. Let's do 1. Oh, accidentally copied it. Once you're done playing around, click continue. Stop. Let's just do the 2 extremes and see what happens. Ooh. Huh. It still seems to be the same. Interesting. This is not the point I thought was going to be made. As you saw, if you don't play enough rounds, 5 or less, always cheat dominates. Not for the whole time. In 1985, when Americans were asked how many close friends they had, the most common answer was 3. 2004, the most common answer was 0. We now have fewer friends across class, racial, economic, and political lines. Because we have fewer friends, period. Okay. And as you just discovered for yourself, the fewer repeat interactions there are, the more distrust will spread. That's the point you're trying to make. But these guys still won out every time. Maybe that's because it just went on for so long. The less rounds, the more likely to cheat. Yeah, that's what... Izzy, I don't know if you predicted that in my chat or so, but yeah. Huh, can I... That's weird. I still had these guys win out, but maybe it's because I let it go on for so long. Anyway, it gets worse. There's another way to breed distrust. Here are the payoffs for the trust game. Cooperate, cheat, cheat. With the normal payoffs, copycat wins. But now, change the both cooperate reward from 2 to 1, then click start, even though 1 is still more than the punishment for both cheating. Yeah. That's definitely going to make a difference. But I feel like there might be something wrong with the algorithm because I'm still getting copycats every time. Feel free to play around with different payoffs once you're done. Click continue. Oh, I'm supposed to do this. I didn't realize that. That's why there was no difference. Silly. Oh, now it's all cheats. Yeah, that makes sense. It's risk versus reward. You didn't change the numbers, click the arrows. Yeah, I figured it out. I didn't realize I was supposed to. I thought they did it automatically. Dang. Now I'm kind of curious. Oh, they're both the same. Oh, -1. Jeez. 0. That's how it feels sometimes. Yeah, that makes sense, though. The same thing happens with a lower win-win reward. Always cheat takes over. Game theory has two powerful ideas about this. Zero-sum game. This is the sadly common belief that a game for us must come at a loss to them and vice versa. Non-zero-sum game. This is when people make the hard effort to create a win-win solution, or at least avoid a lose-lose, without the non-zero-sum game. Trust cannot evolve. Yeah, it really sucks to do something over and over and over again if you're just... nothing changes. You know? Speaking of which, let's now look at our third and final barrier to the evolution of trust. Mistakes. As cool as Copycat is, it has a huge fatal weakness I haven't mentioned yet. To understand the problem, let's say two copycats are playing against each other. Being nice players, both their first moves will be cooperate. And normally they just pay back each other's kindness and sing Kumbaya until the end of time. But what if, while trying to reciprocate goodness... Oh no! Mistakes, miscommunication, misinterpretations, accidents happen all the time in real life. But if the other person doesn't think it was an accident, the other player, being a copycat, had to retaliate. Oh no, ×2. And you, being a copycat as well, will also have to retaliate. Yeah, that's where grace comes in. Thus, like the Hatfields and McCoys, these two copycats will spiral into an endless cycle of vengeance that started over a single mistake long ago. Not a bad reference. Tragic, but now, are there other types of players who can deal with this mistake? Let's meet some new faces, or new hats anyway. The whole time, my legs are cheat. Your legs are the cheater. Your legs betrayed you. I'm like Copy Kitten. Aww. I'm like Copycat, except I cheat back only after you cheat me twice in a row. Ah, that's like me. After all, the first one could be a mistake. I don't know if anyone can hear me purring over the mic. Simpleton. Hi, I try to start cooperative. If you cooperate back, I do the same thing as the last move, even if it was a mistake. You cheat back, I do opposite thing as last move, even if it mistake. I'm not sure I understand your logic, but you are a simpleton. Her. You heard. Random. Monkey robot. Ninja pizza tacos. Alright, let's see how well these peeps do when they play in a tournament. Let's start with the doesn't always cooperates versus our old winner. They are Copycat and our three new characters, the Forgiving Kitten, the Dull Simpleton, and the Silly Random. In each round of a match, players have a small chance of making a mistake, let's say 5%. Who do you think will come out on top? Think carefully, then place your bets. I'm gonna say the Kitten. Alright, you bet Kitten. Let's find out. Use the controls, your left to start the sim in quick mode, or go through it step by step. I was not expecting that. Your bet was close, but no cigar. Simpleton wins. This is because Simpleton is actually capable of exploiting always cooperative. They both start cooperating, but if Simpleton makes a mistake and cheats, since always cooperate never retaliates, it'll keep cheating them. Oh, is that why we have so many stupid people in the world? Same thing as before, except instead of half always cooperative, it's half always cheat. Much less forgiving, more hostile environment. Who do you think will win now? That's a lot of cheats. I'm gonna say the cheats. You bet always cheat. Again, go through the simulation. Oh! I'm happily surprised. On the kittens. Good guess, but someone else took the prize. Copy Kitten wins this time. That's surprising that with an even meaner starting population, Copykitten, a more forgiving version of Copycat, was the most successful. Copykitten is so forgiving, it doesn't even entirely wipe out Copycat. It shares room. In this case, a bit of miscommunication, by chance, could lead to more forgiveness. But is this true for all levels? Damn money! Use the slider below to change the amount of miscommunication, then hit start. At 5%, Copykitten wins. What happens at 0, 20, or 50? It only goes up to 50. Because at that point, every move is a coin flip. During each round, there's 5% blah blah blah. I feel like people make mistakes more than 5% of the time. Let's do 25. That feels more accurate. Okay. Shoot. Let me try 15. That's a lot of cheaters. Wow. Is anything higher than 5 gonna result in cheaters? I do 6. Okay, not that one. When's the benchmark? 7. Okay, the cheaters are gone. 8. Okay. Let's just skip to 10. Okay, so 10 does it. Now I want to know if 9 does it. Okay, apparently if you make mistakes 10% of the time, you're in trouble. The results turn out something like this. At 0%, the fair copycat wins. At 1 to 9, the forgiving copycat wins. At 10 to 49, the unfair, unforgiving, always cheat wins. At 50, nobody wins ever. Oh, I gotta see 50. Oh, I wish I could go back. Never mind. Okay. This is why miscommunication is such an interesting barrier to trust. A little bit of it leads to forgiveness, but too much and it leads to widespread distrust. If you're making a lot of mistakes, they're probably not mistakes, or at least that's what many people's logic is. I think our modern media technology, as much as it's helped us increase communication, has increased our miscommunication much more. Oh, definitely. You can't read tone in text. I don't care what anyone says. Unless you specifically put tone in text, which is much easier to lie about, you can't put tone in text. At last, let's experiment with all the numbers, the knobs, and sliders. Let's play in the sandbox mode. Oh, Jesus. Sandbox mode is totally optional. Feel free to skip it or play around once you're done. Let's recap. Shoot. Well, this has a little bit of everyone. Let's have payoffs be the same. Play 10 rounds per match. After each tournament, eliminate the bottom 5. During each round, there's a 5% chance. I wonder how often people actually make mistakes. Like, I wonder if there's a number for that. It probably depends a lot on various factors that are too complicated to fit into this simple game. I'm gonna put the distrust just at 8. Maybe 9. Just below when the cheats overpopulate. Then do it until there's an overwhelming amount of 1. Okay, the idiot was bred out. It is random is 4. Okay. Let me put cheater at, let me get rid of random entirely. Let's see, let's have 4 of each, maybe? Oh, simpleton needs to be way more. Simpleton needs to be at least 3. Let me put this down to 4, 4, 5, 5, 3, 2, to 3. Cooperators aren't going to be that common. So I'm going to put them to 3. Copycat is too high, so let me put them to 5. And let's see. I think Grudger should be a little higher. I wish I could pick which one it affects, because this is getting a little... Okay, let me just put cheaters all the way down to 0 to 1. And then I'll do the rest. It needs to be at least 3 simpletons. Detective. I don't feel like that's a very common way of thinking. Grudge, copycat, cheater. Let me put cheater up to 3. And simpleton 3. Detective. I still want that at 1. Can you please stop? I want to pick them myself. This is getting annoying. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Wow, the cheats went out quickly with that one. Okay, I'm gonna stop there. Once you're done, let's recap what we learned today. Game theory has shown us the 3 things we need for the evolution of trust. Repeat interactions. Trust keeps a relationship going, but you need the knowledge of possible future repeat interactions before trust can evolve. That kind of reminds me of something I read once where, like, neurodivergent people will typically consider someone a friend even after longer gaps in interaction, whereas neurotypical people typically need more regular interaction in order to maintain a friendship, which I found interesting. Possible win-wins. You must be playing a non-zero-sum game, a game where it's at least possible that both players can be better off, a win-win. And honestly, I'm not going to get political here, but I blame capitalism for this not being as common as it is. Low miscommunication. If the level of miscommunication is too high, trust breaks down. But when there's a little bit of miscommunication, it pays to be more forgiving. Wonder what happens when there's too much communication, because that is a thing. Of course, real-world trust is affected by much more than this. There's reputation, shared values, contracts, cultural markers, blah blah blah. And let's not forget the biggest lesson. If there's one big takeaway from all of game theory, it's this. What the game is defines what the players do. Our problem today isn't just that people are losing trust, it's that our environment acts against the evolution of trust. That may seem cynical or naive, that we're merely products of our environment, but as game theory reminds us, we are each other's environment. In the short run, the game defines the players, but in the long run, it's us players who define the game. So, do what you can do to create the conditions necessary to evolve trust, build relationships, find win-wins, communicate clearly. Maybe then, we can stop firing at each other, get out of our own trenches, cross no man's lands, and come together. And all learn to live and let live. That's a neat picture. Christmas truce between opposing trenches. Illustrated by A.C. Michael. Published in Illustrated London, January 9th, 1915. That's really neat. He's a good artist. Art. Look at these little guys. They're blushing and cute. So cute. Created by Nikki Case. Play my other stuff, follow my Twitter, download the music and source code. Ooh, there you go, Phoenix. Based off Robert Axelrod's 1984 book, The Evolution of Cooperation. Read my footnotes for this game. Lots of love and thanks to my Patreon supporters. See my drawings of them, throw coins at me on Patreon. Redeemer, no, Leo, that's the exact opposite of what we should have learned here. You needed to pay attention. Yes, want more learning by playing? Check out Explorable Explanations. Lion Cubs, Play Fight. Is this by the same person? looks like it. That's kind of neat. This is really cool. Alrighty. Oh, this is interactable. F11 brings it back, right? Yep. Alright. That's gonna be it for this mini stream. Thank you all for coming. Thanks for stopping by. But where the fun and always trust. You're not supposed to always trust. You're supposed to be a copycat. Didn't you learn anything, boy? You needed to pay attention. Anyway, thank you all for coming. Thanks for stream, Momo. You're welcome. Nice. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you everyone for being here. It's a short little stream, but I needed it today. I needed something chill. Alright. You small brain, no big. I should be playing some more on Wednesday, because I typically play every Wednesday at around 6 p.m. EST. I may play tomorrow, depending on whether or not some friends of mine are playing Repo. We'll see. But anyway, can't wait for Pride. Gonna be fun. And I will see y'all next time. Bye!